let's get into it. Hope everyone had a good day today. Hope everyone started the week off strong. Uh, Sorry I did not get that weekly outlook out. I ended up flying back into LA yesterday, and my flight, excuse me, just kept getting delayed. I was supposed to get back at 6 p.m. and I ended up getting back home around like midnight. So sorry about that. But nevertheless, let's go over the pre-market plan. I'm going into really the rest of the week, but of course into tomorrow, and then I'll break down the trade that I took today as well on QQQ, which was beautiful. I really want to break down this trade and why I took it, because something you always hear me say is the higher the time frame, the stronger the key level. And we are executing on the 1 minute time frame on the higher time frames, and this was a beautiful break and retest off the weekly time frame here on QQQ, so I can't wait to break that down for you guys. So nevertheless, going into tomorrow, there's really nothing here for me on the SPY that I like. I defaulted to QQQ today because I'm always going to default to higher time frame key levels over previous day high and previous day low. And coming into today, QQQ was the only name that opened up near a higher time frame key level. So you can see SPY is in the no trade zone, at least for me. But if you were able to catch this, you got right off the bat. I mean, you can see the first 3 minutes of market open. You had a beautiful break and retest under the previous day low here on SPY. I mean, you got another entry here around 742, which is very solid. But you can see here, literally the first 2 to 3 minutes, break and retest, you made a new low here. You went from the previous day low being 764.17, and you got a straight flush into 763.20. So if you took that on zeros, you got paid the next day expiration as well. You got paid. So depending on how you played that, kudos to you. But for me, right, there's really nothing here on the SPY. We ended up breaking our higher time frame key level here, this 769, as you can see, but we just haven't retested that yet. If you go here on the 1 hour, you can see this is really just what SPY is doing. Maybe it will continue to do this until NVIDIA has its earnings. We won't know until we know. But SPY ended up, sorry, give me 1 sec. SPY was just, we had a very nice rip to the upside. We were consolidating in here, caught a very nice break and retest over our channel here. We came back under, and then we ended up giving up this level. As you can see, we just haven't retested that yet. And now, for the last 3 days, it's just been in between 769, 760.30, and just inside bar days for the last 3 days. So just a bit of a consolidation going on here on the SPY. As I always say, right, I'm going to let my trade come to me. So very simple, very easy here on the SPY. I'm just waiting for my range break. This is a low probability environment for me. Less is more, right? On average, ideally, right, you really want to be taking maybe 3 to 4 trades a week. It's a really good week if you do end up getting 5, but this is why, right? You can see as long as price is in between 769 and 760.30, there is no trade there. You let your trade come to you. So going into tomorrow, what do I like about SPY? Well, if we get a break and retest over either key level, you're above the previous day high, which means price is likely to continue higher. You're under the previous day low as well, and you're breaking outside of this range here. We got about 5 seconds here before this bell goes off, so give me 1 sec. Okay, and that was the bell. So, nevertheless, that's really what I'm just waiting for here on SPY. Break and retest over 769, break and retest under 760.30. If you zoom out here on the daily, and today was a really big day on the Qs, and like I said, we'll break that down because Qs did end up filling this gap here. You can see we ended up breaking 760.30, but we have this gap to fill, right? We gapped above that. This is still previous all-time highs, right? Last 3 days really hasn't much has been occurring here on the SPY. So I'm really just looking for that. Short under this, you're filling this gap as well, and you're playing the pullback long here off of 756. So that looks really good there on the SPY. That's a game plan going into tomorrow. QQQ, this was a beautiful day. So coming into today, my plan was either a short under 708.50, right? Break and retest under that. You can see, never got it. We just straight downside, which caught my attention, right? That looked very good. Or it was a pullback long off of 704. And this is very important on why you should do your top-down analysis and understand what's going on. Because this is probably a difficult trade for most beginner traders. The market opens, the bears are in control to the downside, but you're looking for a long opportunity. Guys, if this holds up, that was a beautiful trade, right? If you're able to catch this, and you basically caught the bottom on the week. This is our weekly candle, wicking off of 704. Now that's upside. Now, why is that? Well, all you have to do is look left. This was a very strong support turned into resistance level. We got the breakout, right, 2 to 3 weeks ago. That is the break and retest on the weekly time frame, 704. So if you come into today's session and you zoom in here on the 1 minute, I mean, look at that. You have to understand liquidity. You have to understand where to place your stop loss when you're taking a trade like this or this big, because you're trading on the higher time frame. So you have to understand, like, hey, this thing needs a little bit of time to play out. Look at that, right? A little bit of consolidation before buyers step up, and you got that push all the way back up. Sorry, all the way back up into the high day. I mean, that is beautiful. But why is that, right? You're playing the break and retest on the weekly time frame. So I know that this is pretty difficult for most traders when market opens and you see something like that. But you have, and this is why it's so important to build your top-down analysis. So a trade like this, you typically let either the lower day or depending on where your entry is, you have to let breakup structure stop you out. You get what I mean, and let your thesis play out. So this was beautiful, right? This was a beautiful wick off of 704 on the weekly candle, a beautiful wick, and then, right, buyer stepped up. That is a break and retest on the weekly. Very, very beautiful. So what am I looking for going into tomorrow here on Qs? Break and retest over 708.50 or short under 704 now, because today we got the retest. The retest occurred. You can see we retested 704. We got that push all the way above 708.50. That's the break and retest. It's already occurred. Now, what do I like about the long over 708.50 going into tomorrow? Well, now you're playing the continuation back up. We got the retest today on the weekly time frame, right? I just showed you that weekly candle. Now you're looking for the continuation back up to the top of the range. So that's what I'm looking for here. We already got the retest today. We already swept that liquidity. So now I'm very open to a short under 704 if the bears want to throw here on QQQ. Anywhere in between here, for me at least, is a no trade zone. A lot of these names are in a range. A lot of these names. So you got to be patient. And I'll break that down as well. So very simple on Qs. My trade's coming to me. Longs over 708, shorts under 704. Anywhere in between here, cash day. And then this was very important here on the Qs today. What do you notice here? This was a gap, right? We filled that gap. Looks really, really good. Still a little bit to go, but very solid here on the Qs. I mean, beautiful daily wick right off of 704. That's exactly what you want to see. So that's the game plan tomorrow on the Qs. IWM, right? No trade zone. If you zoom here on the 1 hour, you can see clear as daylight. This is a name sitting in the channel. So what am I going to do? As long as it's sitting in between 302 and 297, I'm hands off. Very, very nice here. I love seeing these reactions. Very strong key level. Less is more. So I'm looking for longs over 302. Still very, very bullish on the higher time frame on this name, right? If we get over that, you got a clear shot towards all-time highs here, or a break and retest under 297. These are plays that, you know, in my head, they're setting up, right? You basically got, right, your daily double bottom here on the daily time frame. If this sets up tomorrow, you're also under the previous day low. You can see reactions here, 2 days in a row down here, break and retest under that. You can see that would be a very nice continuation lower to the downside. Very simple there. Anywhere in between this channel, 302 and 297, I'm hands off. Tesla, right? Really not much set up today. And this is beautiful. I love, like, guys, these, not every day is a trading day, but they're setting up, right? You just have to know what you're reading. So I love seeing my key levels be respected. These are plays setting up today. The plan was long over 368, short under 349. So I love seeing, all you got to do is look left. Very solid reactions here off my key level, 394. So what am I looking for tomorrow? Shorts under 349 if that sets up, right? If we hold this, now it's just an inside bar day. We're still in this range. So I'm looking for shorts under 349. If that sets up, you have a clear shot to 337. If we hold this, I'm pretty much just hands off. If I want to go long tomorrow, longs over 368. So that's the game plan there on Tesla. Palantir. Nothing here yet. You can see we're consolidating. Like I said, a lot of these names are consolidating. A lot of these names are stuck in a range. I'm just waiting. I'll actually zoom out here on the daily to give you a better visual, and you can see clear as daylight. This 172 is being respected beautifully on Palantir. Even today, another solid hold off of 172, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. We have touched and respected 172, and you can see we are just in the channel here. So just avoid the no trade zone, low probability environment. I love this, right? This is a lot. I mean, this is a ton of built up liquidity. If or when this thing breaks, either you're just going to get a super big breakout, we should know this by now, and not get a retest, or you're going to get a very beautiful break and retest to the downside. That looks really good. So a lot of built up liquidity to either side here. I do have this 180 here, just because, right, solid reactions here on the dot. I always want to go with the most recent price action to mark out my key levels. So 183 is from some time away, you know, earlier this year, at the start of this year. You could wait for that to be a little bit more conservative. If you do take a long over 180, you're basically anticipating, right, this breakout over 183. I still believe that going long over 180 until 183 is still a really good RR trade. So to each your own, to each your own. So you're just really waiting for this range break, right? Longs over 183 or even 180, right? If tomorrow 180 sets up, you're also over the previous day high. That's a good indicator that price is likely to continue higher. That looks really good. And then of course, right, I'm watching this 172 if or when. You're playing the pullback back down to 162 here on Palantir. So another name that's just in a channel. I would be patient. Hood, right? Hood, right? Longs over 109. That's just how I'm looking at this. Less is more. Like I said, I'm not going to really mark out key levels just to mark them out. Just how I'm looking at this on the weekly and daily, really not the cleanest. You know, this trend line is being respected on the weekly, which is good. You can see 93 is respected very well. Just my personal preference, I don't really care to take a trade anywhere in there. If you want to look for a short under the PDL, by all means do so. I just wait for the higher time frame key levels. Less is more. Those are higher probability shots. And you can see clear as daylight, 109, right? That's 2 days in a row, right? 2 days in a row. Beautiful reaction. This key level is already marked out before market opens. And then today, another solid reaction. And all you have to do is look left. This was a very strong support level. We broke this, and now we turned this into resistance. So if I want to go long, I would love longs over 109. You'll be over the previous day high. You'll also be over the previous week's high. So that is a good indicator that price is likely to continue higher there on Hood. I'll just wait for a short under 93. But other than that, I'm pretty much hands off here on Hood. Apple, another name that's still stuck in a channel. Look at that, another name that's still stuck in the channel. Really nothing going on. Nothing going on. Apple has been stuck in this range for really a solid trading month. This is all we're doing. This is all we're doing. Kudos to you. If you're watching this name, or you're taking trades off of it, off the PDH and PDL. If you feel like you're getting faked out, or there's just not much going on, you're trading in a channel. You're trading in a channel. So just keep that in mind. So for me, I'm sure you guys know I've already said this in the past. Longs over 317, shorts under 300. This is what has me intrigued. That's 2 days in a row. Sellers defended 317, and we slapped this thing right back down. So this is a very strong key level. I'm definitely watching this here on Apple. Can we finally, if or when we do, get over 317? That's a weekly level. That's a hard time frame key level. We have flirted with this thing twice last week, 2 days in a row actually, and sellers did not give that thing up. I mean, you can see on this day, we slapped that thing down to the downside. So still sitting in the middle of our no trade zone. Nvidia really hasn't been the cleanest price actually, in my opinion. The last trading week. I mean, look at this on the 1 hour. These are just big, wacky, ugly looking candles. And then today, right? I mean, this was a big RR trade today. This was a no trade zone, and I have this labeled out: short under 214, range break. There's no coincidence, guys. This is what I'm like trying to teach. It's not a coincidence that when you break a channel and you break a range, the price action is beautiful, right? You get that clean follow through. You get those bigger RR returns. That's for a reason. That's not random. We see it every day, or at least when we do break these channels. So you just have to be that trader who is willing to be patient, trade less, and understand that, hey, I want a higher win percentage. I want better trades. I want more quality trades, but that's going to require maybe I take 2 to 3 trades a week. Maybe I take 3 to 4 trades a week. So to each their own. I'm just trying to teach you guys exactly what I do and what I look for on a daily basis. And today was just beautiful. And how I just described, on Palantir, what happens when you have so much built up liquidity, you get that big breakout and not a retest. This is a great example, right? You get that big breakout here on Nvidia, straight downside 214. At least how I trade, I definitely would. I didn't get a retest here off of 214. You see, we broke it, just no retest. So you should know. What are you looking for? Well, honestly, I mean, we'll have to wait and see if you are looking to trade this name, because it does have earnings in 2 days. So, if you're looking to trade it tomorrow, I would just be looking for a retest now. That's what I would be looking for. Retest off of 214. Why? Because you're playing the break and retest on the daily time frame. Today you got the breakout displacement candle, pull back short off of 214, and it's a weekly level. The higher the time frame, the stronger. So, right, that's what I would be looking for. Now you have some downside here. The thesis behind this trade is if we get under 214, we can see a pushback down to 203. You can see here on Nvidia, we were ranging in between 203 and 190. You can see on this day, which is on the 3rd of this month, we broke this range. We still need to retest this, right? Still need to retest this. You got to be patient. So it's either going to be this, I do like that, right? Or pull back long off of 203 because you're playing the break and retest of 203. Don't forget that. And that's pretty much there on Nvidia. Amazon looks good. It really depends on what the price action looks like. In my opinion, keyword opinion, I just don't think Amazon moves that well on the underline. This is a name that I'll keep on my side watch if there's literally nothing else going on. You know what I mean? But nevertheless, technical analysis is treated beautifully here. I mean, look at 258. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. Reaction, 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 reaction. I mean, very, very nice. If you go here on the daily, look at that. Solid reactions. But another name, just like most of them, are in a channel, in a range. This is all really Amazon has been doing. Just ranging. That's all we've been doing. We found support here at 271. We broke that. We never got the retest, and that just led to straight downside. So you can see, out of the last 4 out of the last 5 days, we have respected and defended 258. So I do like a short under 258. That's a good RR down to 256. And under 256, you have this earnings gap. Do not forget that, right? We still have this earning gap. So that's a good trade there on Amazon. So let's see what happens. Since we made all-time highs, we have been in a downtrend. We are consolidating now a little bit. So what do? Right? Consolidation, next leg higher. We won't know until we know. But I will keep an eye out, as you should, on this 258, 256 here on Amazon. That looks really good. Google, really nothing here for me on Google. You can see another name that's just doing absolutely nothing. Another name that's just ranging on the weekly time frame. Even here on the daily, right? I mean, this is all we're doing here on Google. That's not a name that's really going anywhere, guys. So less is more. I would look for a short, definitely under 333. It's a range break. I would definitely look for something like that if I really want to trade Google. Like I said last week, same thing this week. Really nothing here for me. Look at this on the weekly time frame. It's just consolidating. There's nothing there. So to each their own. Just be patient. If you really want to trade that name, be careful. You can mark out your PDH, PDL. And actually, I'll explain something right here. Right. So let's say you get a break and retest over Google, right, over the previous day high, and you're like, okay, hey, look, it worked. See, I got paid today. But what you don't understand is And as I always say, there is no right or wrong way to trade, and I'm not here to tell you how to trade. I'm just here to tell you how to think in probabilities and take high probability setups. What you're doing is you're creating bad habits, right? Win and losses are random distributions, but you're creating bad habits because over your next 100 trades, and you won't know until you track this data, will you have an edge in the market if you're trading in channels on the weekly time frame and on the daily time frame, but you're taking previous day highs and previous day lows, right? Is that a successful win rate or RR over the course of the next 100 trades? The only way you know that is if you take 100 trades in a range in a channel and see where that gets you. You have to, have a series of trades to build that data to define, okay, there is an edge here in the market. So based on my own personal data, this is where, I've come up with the no trade zone. I notice that I lose more when we are stuck in a range. Why? Because there's no clear indication on who's in control, right? If we're in an uptrend, we know the bulls are in control. If we're in a downtrend, we know the bears are in control. If we are consolidating, they're like you're just in between, so you can expect more fake outs. You can expect lack of continuation. You know what I mean? So I kind of hope that helps explaining that there. So just be careful. That's all I can say. We are risk managers before traders. But nevertheless, tomorrow, if you want to go long over the PDH and, that's a good RR to you, by all means do so. For me, as long as, Google is sitting in between 375 and 333, I'm pretty much hands off here. And this is a good indicator that, market comes in seasons. Like I said, last year, out of every name that I traded, right, Tesla, NVIDIA, SPY, Qs, my biggest breadwinner name, surprisingly, was Google. And then you can see this year, I've barely really touched Google at all. Started off the quarter with a very nice downtrend. We had, I capitalized a little bit on this with individual stocks instead of options. But since then, and this was very nice, right? You got over a month of just straight upside on the weekly time frame. But since then, you can see, look at that. Now it's just a range, it's just a channel. So just be safe, guys. SpaceX, let's go here. You can see now we're starting to consolidate a little bit here. That's 3 weeks now. We have an inside bar week. The week just started, so I don't want to call it too early. But you can see we are starting to range here between 145 and 130. So I'm sure you're getting the hang of this. That's our no trade zone. Let your trade come to you. Clear key level of resistance, clear key level of support. Shorts under 130, longs over 145. As long as we're sitting in here, it is an inside bar week. It is inside bar days. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there. Look at that. That's just 3 days of an inside bar day. You don't want to be involved in that. You don't have to take a trade every single day, guys. So shorts under 130, longs over 145. Let your trade come to you. Microsoft. What do you know? Another name. You see where I'm going with this? My no trade zones and why they're so important? Because they keep me out of bad areas. They keep me out of bad trades. This is not a name that's, doing anything as of now. That's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's, we're just 6 days in a row, 5 to 6 days in a row, inside bar day. You don't want to be involved in that. Keep in mind, we trade options. These things affect our option contracts, guys. They do. So, very, very simple here. Look at that. Beautiful reaction again today. That's exactly what I love to see. And it's a weekly key level. This is a breadwinner. I'm looking at that tomorrow. Break and retest over 490 looks really good. You're over the previous day high. It's a break and retest over a weekly level. I would watch that. Break and retest under 478. It's a range break. You're under the previous day low. You're under the previous week's low. That is a great indicator that price is likely to continue lower. And you got this gap fill to the left side. I would watch that as well. That looks really, really good. And now, look at that. To each your own. Does that look like something you want to be a part of? If anything, today was a break and retest off of 490. Break, retest, seller stepped in. That was your A plus short if you really wanted to short this. Break and retest. Don't be surprised if you see a push down to 478. Today you got the retest hammer stick candle. That looks really good. But other than that, no trade zone here for me on Microsoft. So be cautious trading in here. I'm going to this, right? Same game plan as it was today going into tomorrow, right? This is where, trading, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? Like, your key levels are pretty much staying the same throughout the week, but your trades are going to be different depending on how that daily candle closes. So you can see, right, today was the game plan, 490, long, short, 478. Going into tomorrow, it's the exact same game plan, guys. Less is more. And then AMD. So we won't know until we know. A little bit of a peak and fell here on AMD. What happens when we fell a key level and reclaim it? We fuel that move higher. Why? Because those are bears getting squeezed out of the positions for a loss. So you got to put, you broke 457. You broke down to 451. And you had a very solid push back up into 463. On the daily, we got our body of the candle to close over 457. So we still did hold this range technically here. Shorts under 457, longs over 500. Another name that's just in a range. Another name that's in a range. I'm sure you're starting to see the pattern here pretty much across the board on a lot of these names. A majority of our names are really just sitting in a channel here on the higher time frame. So just be aware of that. Other than that, I would definitely watch, AMD here, shorts under 457. Still a very bullish name, right? Still a very bullish name, just not the cleanest. on the right on the weekly time frame, as you can see, a little something like this. That's all we're doing. So if we hold here, you can see today kind of formed a wick off of this. Maybe it's a hammer stick candle setting up. It's only Monday. I really wouldn't be surprised. If you look at the last 3 weeks here on AMD, what do you notice? The last three, actually the last 4 weeks, we have bounce off this general area. So buyers are defending this. They're defending this very, very well. Anywhere in between this range, I would pretty much be hands off here on AMD. I hope this helps, guys. I will see you on the next one.